Thank you, Payoneer team, for setting this up. Yes, excellent. So today I'll be talking about one very common topic in the entire e-commerce vertical today, which is how do you reduce dependency on Facebook ads? And essentially, I'm going to be focusing on how do I scale up my e-commerce sales using Google Ads. I'll also cover about a few case studies about how brands have successfully scaled using Google. I'll talk about Google not being just one platform, but actually a combination of 4 different platforms. Then I'll delve deep into some of the key strategies which you as an e-commerce store or as a drop shipper, you should be implementing to scale Google Ads. Excellent. So here are some of the challenges which I've heard with many brands which we directly work with. I'm sure some of you might also be able to relate these challenges. One common challenge is I have too much dependency on Facebook and Instagram ads. And whenever there is a fluctuation in CPM rates on Facebook, or maybe my products are disapproved on Facebook, my sales drop suddenly. I'm sure some of you are already able to relate to this. We also hear very commonly that, look, I don't know which Google ads to start, or I don't understand the Google AdWords account. So I get very confused as to what kind of campaigns to set up. And of course, one common challenge, how do I scale up my Google ads? I have run my initial ads, but I don't know how to scale them up. So here are some of the challenges we have heard with several e-commerce stores. And today, the objective of my next 15 minutes is going to be how can I help you circumvent these challenges? Now, before I start, I want to share a case study with you. This is a brand we have been working with over the last 2 years. Around 1 year back, they were heavily dependent on Facebook. They used to get around 95% of their sales from Facebook and Instagram. They are in the plant protein based business. Over the last 1 year, they have been able to very successfully scale their Google ads. Today, roughly about 40% of their overall sales come from Google ads. They do roughly between $500,000 to $1 million business on a monthly basis. So successfully being able to scale Google. And I'll walk you through how they have been able to do it. Now, one thing which we need to understand is why is Facebook the dominant channel? And I know all of you know the reason, but I still thought I'll bring it out. There is a difference between a platform like Facebook and a platform like Google search. Okay, on Facebook, you show a product to person and the person impulsively buys your products. On Google, somebody is searching for your products. So the way it happens in e-commerce is the percentage of people buying impulsively bigger than the percentage of people who are searching for your products. And think of it this way. How many times have you entered a mall with a specific product in mind and entered directly into that store versus you go to a mall and you just keep roaming around the mall and one of the products which you like, you impulsively buy, right? So impulsive purchases are generally more than search-oriented purchases. But what I want to highlight here is in spite of that, we have seen for most categories, 20 to 40% of their overall sales can actually come from search platforms like Google. And this percentage varies from industry to industry. So if you're on the extreme left, which is an apparel industry, which heavily depends on impulse purchases, you will see that Google contributes less than 20% of your sales. But if you're on the extreme right, and you're talking about an industry like, let's say, health and wellness industry, or you're talking about selling, let's say, weights, or selling protein, plant proteins like I spoke about, there is a huge search intent for these categories, and Google can take up to 60% of the overall spends. So you need to understand on which side of the spectrum you lie in terms of your dropshipping products. And depending on where you lie, you will still be able to contribute around 30 to 50% of your sales on Google Ads. Now, this is extremely important. This is the core of my presentation today. What I want you to understand is while we talk about Google Ads as a single Google Ads, In reality, Google actually is a combination of four very key platforms. Okay, one is your Google search, which is like a text-based ad. When you search on Google, let's say Plix Live, you will see a few text ads, and I'm sure all of you have seen that. You might be running these ads yourself. The second is called as shopping ads, where you search an attribute of a product, and what you see is image ad coming after the product. The third, what I'm going to talk about today is display ads. These are ads which show on Google Display Network. These could be third-party apps and websites. And the last on the extreme right is YouTube ads. Now, YouTube is also a part of Google, where you show ads on YouTube platform. These could be video ads, these could be carousel ads. So when we talk about Google ads, it's extremely important to understand these four different pillars of Google ads. And what is more important to understand is, for your direct to consumer brand, not all of these pillars is going to work. So if you see, Google has multiple products in each of these. When you come to search, they have something called brand search, they have non-brand search, they have dynamic search ads, they also have remarketing search ads. So what I want you to do is, I don't want you to get confused in all the different products of Google. What we have done is, we have done an extensive research across the last 2 years, and we have identified three key products of Google which work really well for your DTC store, direct to consumer e-commerce store. And these products are smart shopping campaigns, which is a part of your shopping vertical, discovery ads, which is a part of your display vertical, and true view for action ads, which is a part of your YouTube vertical. So if you are an e-commerce brand today and you want to scale your Google, I would strongly recommend you to focus on only these three Google types. And together, these three will be able to scale your Google spends to 40% of overall. What I'll do now in my subsequent slides is talk about each of these products, smart shopping, discovery, and true view for action, and tell you the best practices which you need to implement while running these ads. The first one is smart shopping. What you see on the left side is a sample preview ad of a smart shopping ad. These ads appear on google.com. When you search for any keyword, you will be able to see image ads, and these ads are known as smart shopping ads. Now, very important thing to understand, in smart shopping ads, you don't have to manually provide the keywords. The keywords are automatically selected by Google's artificial intelligence. All you have to do is, you have to prepare a catalog of your products, and you have to upload this catalog on Merchant Center. Once you upload this catalog on Merchant Center, also make sure that the title of your product and description of your product contains the common keywords. So these should contain things like your brand name, they should contain attributes of your product, they should also contain things like color or category of your product. So the quality of your catalog is super critical for a smart shopping campaign. You get your catalog correct, Google will automatically pick the right keywords and start showing your ads to the right set of people. One more advantage of smart shopping campaign is, these are image-based ads. Unlike your traditional non-brand keyword and brand keyword, these are not text ads. So from an e-commerce perspective, image ads are usually seen to work better than just text-based ads. In this case, Plix Life, the client which we are speaking about, they were able to get a 5x return on ad spend by running smart shopping ads. What you also need to pay attention to is, there is something called bid strategy in Google. So when you start your smart shopping campaigns, start with a maximize conversion bid strategy. And after a 14-day period, you can migrate this to a target ROS bid strategy. This combination of maximize conversion and target ROS makes sure that your campaigns learn properly and start giving you the desired return on ad spend. Now, one more additional advantage of your smart shopping campaigns is, when you run smart shopping campaigns, it automatically runs not only your search-based ads, it also runs dynamic remarketing campaign. Now, what is dynamic remarketing? You might have seen that when someone visits your website and sees a specific product and they go to, let's say, Google or Facebook, they will see ads of the same product. This is known as dynamic remarketing. very popular strategy in the e-commerce vertical. Now, along with smart shopping, dynamic remarketing is run by default, which means you will be able to remarket people who have come to your website across the Google display network. In order to do that, what you need to make sure is when you're setting up your dynamic remarketing campaign, when you're setting up your smart shopping campaign, dynamic remarketing is enabled. Automatically across Google Display Network, Google will pick up products from your catalog and start showing ads as image ads, native ads, video ads, and text ads. So very simple, set up one campaign and you get benefit of both search-based image ads and also dynamic remarketing ads. So this was the first recommended campaign which I spoke about. Let me just take you to the second campaign. The second campaign is for today, which I'm going to discuss, is YouTube for Action. Now, I know all of you think that YouTube is a platform for branding, and that is how YouTube started as a platform. But over the last 2 years, Google has rolled out a set of features on YouTube, which makes YouTube a very attractive platform for e-commerce brands, not only for branding, but also to get conversions. And one such product of Google is YouTube for Action. Now, there are multiple products on YouTube. One is called as TrueView for Reach, TrueView for Shopping. But what I want you to run is not any of those, but TrueView for Action, because these campaigns are optimized for website conversion. So when you run TrueView for Action, Google will automatically find people who are more likely to come to your website and purchase your products. Now, what is very important is when you are running a specific ad on YouTube, make sure you run a specific product ad. Instead of running a brand ad or a category ad, focus on running videos for specific products on your website. And when people click on those products, make sure you land them on the product page. When you set up your YouTube campaign, you will also be asked to figure out who should you target on Google. Now, this is a very complex thing. A lot of people don't understand targeting on Google correctly. There are different targeting options on Google. The most reliable and the one targeting option which almost always works is known as custom intent targeting option. Now, there are other options like in-market. There are things like affinity audiences, but we have done a lot of testing, and in-market and affinity audiences are not seen to work that well. But what works really well is custom intent audience. So next time when you're setting up your YouTube for Action campaign, make sure you create an ad group for custom intent audience. What is a custom intent audience? This is something which Google rolled out around 2 years back. What they did is they used the search signals from google.com to target on YouTube, which essentially means that, let's say, for example, somebody was searching for plant protein on google.com. Google was able to put that person as a custom intent of plant protein. So 1 month down the line, when the person went to YouTube, that person was able to see YouTube for Action ads of plant protein. The way you set up your custom intent audience is you have to put in the keywords of whose intent you want to target. As you can see on the bottom, for this particular client, we have put in around 20 keywords. These are the keywords which are most relevant to the brand or the specific product. And anybody who has been searching for these products can now see ads on YouTube. So this is like a really powerful feature. It's also more powerful than Facebook, because on Facebook, you don't get the search intent, but Google, because it runs both google.com and YouTube, has access to search intent data. If you want to figure out which keywords to show, you can use the keyword planner feature of Google and pick up the keywords from there and then create a search intent ad group for your YouTube audience. So the last thing on YouTube, which is very important, is how do you create the right ad on YouTube? Like I said previously, you have to focus on a single product ad and not on a category or homepage ad. The second most important thing is you should mention the price in the ad. The reason price is very important is because it helps you pre-qualify the audience. People who are coming on your website should already be willing to pay the price. So when you add price on your YouTube ads, you are able to drive richer traffic to your website. Second thing which is also important is make sure you put the call to action button correctly. So don't pull call to action button like learn more or know more. You should always put call to action button which says buy now or shop now, because you want to get people with the intent to purchase and not get people with the intent to just scroll your website. So these are some of the best practices. Set up YouTube fraction, create custom intent audience, and create product ad with price in the product ad. If you do these three things correctly, you will see your YouTube campaigns are performing really well. The third product which I talk about today is discovery ads. This is also the last product for today. We covered smart shopping, we covered YouTube, and this is discovery. Now, discovery is also a very recent product by Google. Many of you will not have heard about this. This was launched by Google in the last 12 months. What is discovery? Discovery is a carousel ad format which shows on YouTube feed. As you can see on the left side, this is a YouTube feed which somebody is scrolling their YouTube, and you see these carousel ads in the YouTube feed. These are very similar to your Facebook carousel and Instagram carousel. So if today you are running Facebook carousel and Instagram carousel and they are giving you great returns, you can replicate the same success on YouTube at a much lower CPM, because cost of ads on YouTube is substantially lower than cost of ads on Facebook and Instagram. Again, some of the best practices for discovery ads. Number one, optimize your campaign for conversion. Number two, use custom intent audiences. It's also possible on discovery, just like it's possible on YouTube. Run ads of product specific, not category, not homepage. Put prices in all your ads and land all your ads on product pages instead of category page. So these are some of the best practices. You implement these best practices for discovery ads, you will be able to see very good results coming from discovery ads. And this, in my opinion, is the most powerful slide for today. This just summarizes all we discussed just now. This is a sample account structure which anybody who is willing to scale on Google should be using. I'll walk you through this account structure. At the top comes your smart shopping campaigns. Each smart shopping campaign has only one ad group and one ad, because that is how Google runs it. Next comes your YouTube for action campaigns. These campaigns have to be segregated based on categories of products. So custom intent, first category, custom intent, second category. Put ads of the same category in that ad group. The bottom comes your discovery campaigns. Again, discovery campaigns have to be segregated based on your categories. So custom intent, first category and second category could be two different ad groups in your discovery campaign, and put a bunch of carousel and newsfeed ads in your discovery campaign. So if you just follow this campaign structure correctly, you will be able to scale your Google ads to 40% of your spends, which will help you remove dependency from Facebook and Instagram. So that's in a nutshell the summary of today. I'll take around a couple of minutes to talk about AdYogi. AdYogi is a marketing automation platform. We work with different website providers like Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce in helping them connect the website to different ad platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Google, Amazon, YouTube. The idea is, how do we optimize your ad campaigns to get you the maximum sales? It's an automation platform. We are one of the largest Facebook and Google partners. We're also a Shopify partner. Here are some of the industries we work across: apparel, fashion, footwear, CPG brands. Some of the large brands we work in India and global. And that brings me to the last slide. We have an offer going on for the webinar attendees. So do reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to offer a 25% off on our regular pricing, or a 30-day free trial on the Shopify app. We have a Google Shopping app on Shopify App Store. So in case you're a Shopify store, you can use that. For all the stores, including Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, we have a 20